What's going on, boys and girls? It's me, BenDPB, back with a brand new episode of Ben Meets, and today I've got the Yorkshireman, GWFM. How are you, my friend? Are you alright?
Hey up, how's it going? I had to get a Yorkshire slang term there in.
It's like watching Emmerdale here and you do that, do you know what I mean?
Zach Dingle.
Today we've got the FA Cup final, which reminds me, I've got to get my suit on. Right, now ready to go. Birthday suit for the win. So come on, let's kick some.
You gotta put some clothes on.
What?
Can't be at Wembley with no clothes on. You need to put some clothes on.
Man. Right, now we're ready for the FA Cup final.
I didn't want to say anything, but I was thinking more like... So what I've got, mate, is a couple of icebreaker questions. Nothing too dramatic, don't worry. But the first one is my favourite one. What would your last meal be if you had to have one? And you can't pick a never-ending buffet, by the way.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? All you can eat. I probably have to say, just because I might be a bit biased here, but I really think that West Yorkshire in particular, fish and chips is absolutely bang on.
Do you have mushy peas, gravy, curry sauce?
It's either curry sauce or, get this, I don't know if many people know about this, brown sauce.
I like
honestly,
brown sauce. I like red and brown sauce together. Mix them both
together?
Up. Yeah, together.
Oh, that's a bit strange.
It is strange.
Yeah, that's a bit strange.
Whenever I ask for it in a
like
calf,
a bacon butty.
Whenever I'm in a calf and I say, can I have like a sausage and bacon sandwich with red and brown sauce, I go, what? Red and brown sauce? I do get funny looks.
I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. You know, it's something I'll definitely try, because there's like weird combinations that a lot of people haven't heard of. Like, you know, get a pizza from a takeaway, get some coleslaw on it if it's a hot one.
Coleslaw on pizza?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Honestly.
That's insane.
If it's like a hot one, like a spicy beef one or something like that, and it's, you know, tingling your tongue a little bit, get some coleslaw on it. I'm telling you, you won't regret it.
This has gone from an interview show to
Food
that Aisley Harriet. I'm saying it's like the Aisley Harriet cooking show here. Do you know what I mean?
I'm just fat and like to eat.
I know how you feel, mate. I know how you feel. So, are you PC or console gamer?
I used to be a console gamer, but I've always had PC since about the age of about 15. So what's that now? 17 years, bloody hell. And it's just a case of I to and fro. The earliest game I remember that is Rainbow Island, if anyone remembers that.
Never heard of it.
I bet you haven't either. On YouTube, you'll find it. Rainbow Island, it was classic. Just you fired rainbows at enemies. It was awesome.
You fired rainbows at enemies. That sounds like the worst game ever.
And after Mega Drive, because some bastards broke into house. Some bastards broke into house, yeah, and nicked both the Mega Drive and the Master System, because they were like the top end scale of consoles back then.
So when they stole your Master System or your Mega Drive, I bet they left that Rainbow Island game behind it there before not touching the game where you shoot friggin' rainbows out of a gun. Yeah. I wouldn't brag about that game, mate, if I was you.
Yeah, honestly, mate, you haven't lived. Honestly, have a look at it and you'll think, how awesome is this music in the background? It was like this one track only, apart from when you fought a boss. Oh, it were awesome. The nostalgic levels of nerdness are like really hitting me right now. So.
Now, obviously, your YouTube name, GWFM, where did that come from?
Well, originally, I was called GW365 because I couldn't think of anything to do. I just couldn't think of it back in the day. I was a complete noob going into it. But GW was basically effectively my initials. And then I just started 365 days a year. I don't know why. But changed to FM obviously because I seem to move more onto the FM sort of stuff. I do want to get back into other stuff eventually. But I just want to try and get more consistent first with the FM side. That's a plan anyway.
What made you start doing YouTube? Because when you first started, you had Command & Conquer, among other games on there.
Where are you? What are you? You a son of a bitch. Never know way over here, 'cause it's probably behind here somewhere. That was my bad impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger, even. Can't even say his name, I'm that bad.
It was just I don't know. I was watching a lot of videos. Basically, I started going out with my girlfriend, And what happened was, like, I go stay at her house, and she'd just fall asleep, and it was like 9 o'clock. I'm like, I'm not even tired. I just started watching videos, and there were a few people in particular that are watching. One was, and it's completely FM unrelated. It was called Kikoskia, and it's still going now. It's been going about 10 years. And just his level of wit, it was just a really funny guy, but it just seemed effortless. And he was one of, I suppose, one that sort of got me interested in the YouTube side of things. And then there were a few other people who started watching. There was a guy called Artega Omega, who was a small YouTuber, roughly. He had about 500 subs at the time, but he'd done Command and Conquer, and he was the one basically essentially got me into doing the Command and Conquer side of YouTube, if you like, that part. After that, it was just a case of I thought, well, I do like older games, and I'm pretty good at some of them. One of them being Command and Conquer. There was another one on there, Stronghold 2, I believe. That were another game I was decent at. So I thought, I bet I'd be able to do some of this and actually be all right at the game. But my biggest issue was that I didn't do all like the admin.
Yeah.
Like all the tags and things like that, which is really important. And if I could advise anyone anything who's going into YouTube, make sure you sort out your tags and your descriptions and everything, because I found that out only about 6 months ago, if that. Probably might even been shorter than that. And really, it's if that's the best advice I could give right off the get-go. If you're a new YouTuber or you just wanting to know what to do, that is key, because it helps you get found in the searches. Which I don't understand them exactly, because there's a little something you can download for YouTube called TubeBuddy.
That's what I've got. That's
what
I've got as well.
And it tells you like your tag ratings and things like that. And I'm not 100% sure I know what I'm doing with it, because like I type in, GWFM, and I expect it to be number 1 because it's me. But no, I'm like number 4, number 15, and I'm like, how does this work?
Somebody stole your name.
Yeah, someone's using me as like they just cloned me or something. I don't know.
The fraud, the bastards.
Yeah, that's the one. That's what I'm looking for. Fraud. But yeah, that's what it is. With me on YouTube, I started out mainly on a nostalgic route. A couple of retro games, and they call them roguelike games as well. On the Steam, like they were mainly like the cheaper games, and it's just like progressed from that. And eventually, I went to the FM15. With Geisley when they were in the Vanarama National League North, so the bottom tier, because I didn't even realise that you could download extra things to make it so you could get like levels way below like tier 6 as it is. And it was just like, I thought I was really good, really decent at getting through there, or decent at like knowing what I was doing, but I seemed to drag on too long, and the videos were like 42 minutes long, and it's just I'd never edited before in my life or anything, so I could see why it was a bit dull, but also as well paired with the fact that what I was saying before about the tags. So I think that's probably why it wasn't that good. So I continued on like normal, like other games, like played the XCOM, Enemy Unknown, had quite a long series with that, and a few other games and that. But then eventually it was just a case of Just Mike Plays came along. Which I know he got mentioned on the one with Bood last time out, but yeah, he's absolutely awesome. Is Mike, and he just basically left us a comment. At this point, I wasn't even on Twitter, and he just left us a comment, and he just said, "Oh, get yourself on Twitter," sort of thing. There's this group, so I got invited into that, and I haven't really looked back since. But there's been a few groups, as you're probably aware.
Yeah.
And it chops and changes. Things happen. People fall out and whatever. But I like to think that I'm all right with everyone. I've never had any fallouts with anyone, so I'm quite a relaxed guy, in my opinion. Whether other people think otherwise remains to be seen.
It's amazing how many people get into this, and Mike from Just Mike Plays is there. Yeah. It's amazing how many people I speak to all say the same things. I just started Just Mike Plays. It got into me, gave me advice. And I've said it before, how he's only got 2,000 odd subscribers, amazing. I know he does a niche game in the mobile version. His content's out as well. His thumbnails are even better. He's a funny bloke. When it comes to advice, he's generally one of the best guys out there to go for advice. Whether you want advice on thumbnails, on videos, on anything, he's one of the top blokes out there. I don't think he gets enough praise. I mean, Boone spoke about him, Wolfie spoke about him, you, other people have. He's an absolute top bloke, and I don't tell him too often because I always get big-headed. He's a top bloke, he really is.
I can't speak highly enough of him. He does deserve a hell of a lot more because he does so much for, particularly the FM community anyway.
So when it comes to you getting advice from the FM community, just Mike plays aside, is anybody else you go to for advice?
Well, straight away, I mean, obviously Boo mentioned us last time, and he was equally as good with us. I mean, he mentioned it himself that he'd go out his way and like publicly promote people's channels on Twitter. And like straight away, we got a bit of a bond early on when he first came on the scene. And yeah, we've always helped each other out, with clips on videos and whatever. So he's been absolutely fantastic. This Fried Badger Gamer, I can't even say it, sorry mate. He's been really good as well, really supportive in that, and he's helped us out a couple of times with a couple of videos as well, and I've helped him as well. He's got a Chef Wednesday save, I think, at the minute. Everyone knows who Bood is, I think, I would imagine, at this point.
I hope so.
And in particular, the next person, Loki Doki, he was absolutely fantastic. He's the guy who set me straight on the tags and things like that and descriptions. And yeah, he's an absolute legend, and he's, a lot of people always think that because when people get to like 10,000 subs plus whatever, they're just going to sack everyone off and just be basically a knobhead or whatever to people who just can't be bothered with it. Just that comes across sometimes, not for everyone. Loki Duck is definitely not one of those people. He'll give you time of day. If you ask him, he'll give you time of day. And like I say, I can't thank him enough really for that part, that bit of advice, that kick up the backside that I probably needed. Recently, I've been asking people for, because I've got like a little side series, which obviously I think we'll probably come to later, but I'm doing like this fail of the month thing, and I'm asking for like submissions, and the amount of submissions I've got recently, like I've got quite a few, and that's been really great as well, and just showing that the community is willing to help in that, because I was half expecting people to say, well, I don't really know what you deem like a fail. And the ones I've got have been absolutely hilarious so far. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've just been prepping it before I was speaking to you.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Fail of the Month. This is a second helping of it, if you want to call it that. Probably better calling it something else. But as from this point on, it's going to be a Fail of the Fortnight, because I've had quite a few submissions. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So I'm going to do it on every 2-week basis now. So before we get into the next 5, let's have a look at last week's winner. And of course the winner is the Bradford Park Avenue John Worsnop, charging out with the ball, gets his teammates back, 25 yards out, and it goes in. And what a worthy winner it was. Absolutely appalling. So now getting into the next 5 submissions, let's check them out. So we're back in non-league, and it's just some of the worst defending ever witnessed. It's a low cross straight at his foot, and he just steps over it, and it results in a goal. Next one comes from Life at Leeds. It's just a hopeful shot from Larson from a tight angle. Courtois and David Luiz with a horrible howler. This one, Ongwene, under no pressure whatsoever, lets the Southampton striker on, robs him of the ball, and then scores a delightful chip. Number 4 is a submission from Ali Gaming. It brings a brand new meaning to what I gotta do to score a goal, as you can see here. And then the last one is from Gamer James, and yeah, just I don't even need to say anything. So that is it. It's some fantastic submissions there. Obviously, I'm still after more, so by all means, go to my Gmail, gw365@gmail.com. Send us a link via media file. I'll check it out, and if I think it's worthy, which every single one of them has been worthy so far, I'll implement it into the show somehow. So yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this video. If you have, why not press that like button? If you'd like to see more fails of the fortnight now, as it's going to be called, then yeah, go ahead and press that subscribe button, and hopefully you'll join us for the next one. And until then, I'll see you then. Bye bye.
Where did the idea for the Fail of the Month come from? Because it's a brand new shit, some absolute belters in there, I must say so myself. But where did the idea for that come from? Because it's literally something that we haven't seen anybody else do before. It's a brand new idea, and it's got 180 plus views on it at the moment. So he's going really, really well. So where did the idea for that come from?
Purely for the fact that I've had that many errors in the game where I just think it's bullcrap. I mean, I've done a few little snippets on a couple of recent episodes where I did like a fail of the week section, and that's the dream, is to have it fail of the week. I might do it's fail of the month, depending on how many submissions I get. I might do it fail of the fortnight, and if I get enough to make it so I can do it on a weekly basis, that's the plan. In the end, that's the end game. But yeah, it was just a case of just so many bullshit goals, just to put it politely. And it's just a case of, I mean, you know, on the next video I'll release who the winner is, but when you see who the winner is, it's just a case of, you can understand why this game frustrates the hell out of people. It's a good game, don't get me wrong, and it's really addictive, and people always are going to keep coming back to play it. But it's just like, last year the goalkeepers were terrible. Now they're just terrible, but they look better at trying to save them.
Do they?
No, but well, that's debatable. With some, but it's like, you know, just for example, one of the it's just a joke. It seems to be the one that's basically one of the fails is the goalkeeper gets it, and bear in mind, it's lower league. It's Bradford Park Avenue in the Panorama National North, so it's a low level. But even at that level, there's no way that a goalkeeper would just run out with the ball, run right behind his centre back, smash it as hard as he can from when there's 25 yards outside his own penalty area, and then the ball trickles into his net. You know, from 25 yards out, it's not going to happen.
Now you've got 820 subscribers right now. So, in my opinion, you know, you are we're not quite Loki Doki stage, but you are a big channel. In my opinion, nearly 1,000. You know, what's your thoughts on your channel growth, and also what's your plans for the future?
Well, I disagree that I'm a big guy in this community, as it were. I'd like to think realistically I'm like mid-range. I'm not. I used to, obviously, everyone starts off small, but I think the first 100 in particular is the hardest, and then it tends to get a little bit easier. Some people might disagree. For the future, it's a case of I know myself, and it's been my biggest issue has been consistency. It's basically, there's been most weeks where I've only been able to get one video out, so that's the issue. Whereas the fail of the month one, I thought it's only like a 2.5 minute video. I managed to get it. That were a quick one, so it wasn't that hard. But when you've got to record 2 live comms and there's a bit of a gap in between, you've got to set aside 45 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what the issue has always been. It's finding that time to record, because obviously you're making noise. You've got a girlfriend who puts up with us or tries to put up with us, but she's not overly keen on us doing it when she's in the next room, sort of thing, and she's trying to watch a TV or whatever. And it's just like a little bit under the thumb sort of esque, but
I'm the same. My wife was on the sofa as we started this watching a film with the iPad, shooting daggers at me because she's got to put her headphones in, and then I can hear my daughter upstairs crying. So I'm mouthing to her, upstairs to go look at the baby, go sort the baby out. So she's giving me daggers again, and she's swearing at me, mouthing at me because she's having to go upstairs and the baby. Because I've been at work all day, so normally what happens is if I'm at work all day, she'll look after the baby, and then I'll come home and look after the kids in the evening. So she's there shooting tags at me, going, I've been at fucking work all fucking day with the fucking kids in the room. So, mate, when I get off this call now, she's going to have me writing where she was
going to be castrated.
Oh, yeah. Cups of tea, go do this, go do that, go do the washing up, mate. She's going to be right where she wants me. So I'm going to try and milk this conversation as long as I can until she goes to bed. So I'm hoping she'll fall asleep.
Sounds like a plan.
She ain't come back down yet, so I'm going to try and milk this for all I can. So I'm hoping she's stuck upstairs for a little while. So when it comes to FM17, is there anybody that you watch? Because I know like Boone spoke about and some others. We don't get to watch as much content as we would like. But is there anybody that you try and watch religiously, or anybody you watch on the regular?
On the FM scene,
apart from myself, of course.
Yeah, I try to catch. It's a bit similar to what Boo was saying, really. I try and drop in and check up on people where I can. And like I said, I just want to put this out here. If anyone does want me to have a look at anything, not that I'm, a big shot or anything like that, but if anyone does want me to try and give any advice or anything, don't hesitate at all, because if anyone did ask me, there's no way I'd say no. I'd definitely have a look. I just can't commit to watching absolutely everyone's, because there's that many people. It's just like this time last year, there were, I'd say, I could be wrong here, but I would say there's probably about 20 that I could think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And now this year there seems to be about 50, maybe even more towards 100
Yeah.
people doing FM content, which is it's a good thing, obviously, for the game and the community. But obviously, it's just you just got no chance of watching everyone, so you just having to just like share and retweet and like best you can. But the people I do try to watch most, if I can, is Bood FM. Because I've been with him, like I said, from the beginning. Because I were only about a month in the group before he was, so it's like a bit, bros, you know what I mean? and then obviously Loki Doki, it were Bood that put us towards him. I try to watch his. I haven't been able to catch as much recently, more for the fact that, which I suppose it's a bit hypocritical of myself because my next video is going to be 32 minutes long, but some of them are quite long, you see, and it's just like. You just got to find the time, and obviously when you've got a young one, it's not as easy because obviously you've got to prioritise, haven't you? But other than that, Fry Badger, I always try to look at him because he was like one of my early subscribers, and I convinced him to come and join us on the FM scene, if you know what I mean. And that's where he started from, basically. I tried to help him out best I could, and got him into the group, and then, like I say, he's doing all right at the minute. He had a bit of a break just after Christmas, I think. But otherwise, I think he's back now anyway. Otherwise, it's just a case of I jumping into like FM Life and that Troy. He didn't like Bill was saying before. He's not doing much in terms of like a let's play. He's got a couple of like really good tutorial videos and whatever. Curty FM's another one I try to have a look at. I was watching Teach when he were about, but it seems to have disappeared. They're the main ones, really, off the top of my head.
So when it comes to giving, you've already spoken about how guys like Loki Doki and Bood, etc., have given you advice in the past. But when it comes to you giving advice, you're very open, as you said. But if you could give anyone or everyone advice now to help their channel grow, or whatever it may be, or ways they can improve, because you've watched a little bit or quite a lot of content. As you just told us, maybe not religiously, but you do watch quite a bit of content. What sort of advice would you have for people, either new or experienced guys?
I think the main one is be yourself. It sounds a bit cliche, but try and be yourself. I try my best not to be myself for whatever reason. Try my best not to, swear and stuff. But obviously, don't go overboard with the swearing. But just like you got to keep it natural. That one bit of advice.
Don't fucking swear for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But what else have I put? I've written this down because I had a feeling you'd ask this, and I've just put don't leave where possible. Don't leave dead space. Because the idea is to try and keep it flowing. I think that's what I get, really. So if you're not talking, well, if you can help it, if you're like sneezing your brain out of your nose or whatever, then try and edit stuff like that out.
Advice I've always had for people is post consistently, and I know it's hard for me to post consistently. I post 2-3 times a week, if that, and to me that's enough. I would love to do daily content, but as you said, with work and kids, you just don't get the time. Guys like the Northman who post 2 episodes a day when he's got a wife and kids, I've got no idea how he does it.
Very lenient other half.
He's a very lucky man. That's what he is. I'm telling you, that'd be the dream for me. That'd be the dream. Look at Lelujo. Lelujo does an episode every day and a vlog every day as well. The guy doesn't sleep. He doesn't sleep.
See, the good thing about his situation, which obviously he's sorted it out himself, he's got like an office or something in his garage or something, so he's out of way, so she can't even hear out, so she's probably not even bothered, as long as she knows where he is.
Peace and quiet. So if you look at yourself as you hear in all interviews, what's your good and your bad points as a content creator?
I'll do the good stuff first. I think this is partially thanks to Bood. He helped us massively on the editing side. And that's both in like thumbnail designing as such, helped us out by giving us thumbnails and things like that, and they were awesome. But to actually learn how to do them was absolutely fantastic, and it was Bood that really showed us. And also with the editing, because I use Adobe now to edit, and just the amount of help I got from him in the early stages, and now it's like almost second nature for what I want to do. I like to think it was a strength of mine. I've kind of gone away from it a little bit just purely for the fact that it was a time-consuming sort of thing, and I just thought, because Alice were pregnant and stuff like that at the time, I decided to cut back on the editing. I can still edit when I need to, So that's the one thing. Like for instance, like putting together like the trailer for the intro for the fail of the month and whatever else. I'd have never been able to do that about a year ago. So I like to think I'm quite good at that. I'm getting more natural, I think, in me commentating. But it's the downside for me mainly is the consistency. I feel there's probably more bad things, which probably like you're just crap, G. You're just boring. You've got an ugly face. I don't know. But what it is with me is I know what it is. Even if you've got like so many videos out a week, you need a set day, and I've never been able to commit to a set day. And like I say, it might be 8 days, it might be 6 days. Now I'm going to try my best to get it at this moment in time. I don't know whether to change the latter day, but Monday or Friday, Mondays and Fridays, I'm trying to get them out. I don't know whether to change the Friday to a Thursday or something like that, because Friday could be when people are going out on piss. So I'm umming and ahhing on that, but it's just a case of just trying to at least get something set in stone, because that's for me the biggest weakness. I'm not doing enough, regular enough, so people are probably just getting, well, you haven't released up for ages, and they're moving on to someone else who's doing daily content, which, like I say, the mind boggles when they've got people who work and can do daily content, because I'm like, how?
So FM18, I know it's a good, 6 months away, so it's a little bit way away, but there are a lot of guys who've already got ideas in mind for what they want to do for FM18. Has the brain started ticking over yet? Do you have any plans for FM18 at all?
There's nothing major, like long term, but there's something for the beta perhaps. Still in the early stages of discussing it, so it might not happen yet, but I would imagine it's probably more likely going to happen. And that is, I'm going to be working with another content creator who's recently just joined a community called Martino Got Game. And he is basically, we were discussing literally last night about doing just literally the same team, which probably would be Leeds, because we're both Leeds fans. I know it's a bit boring, maybe not boring, but it's a bit samey because we're Leeds this time. But that's what I'm saying. It's only going to be for the beta, so I'm going to choose a different team later. But the idea is we're going to play the same team, plays the same team, and have like one season. I believe that's what it's going to be, one season, and see who does the best, basically.
And that's a little competition between the two.
Yeah, a bit of a competition, between two Leeds fans, and see who gets the bragging rights, basically. That's the only thing really I can say at the minute. Whether it goes on any longer, I'm not entirely sure yet, because it's still early stages, like I said. But after that, I'm going to choose a different team, but probably more of a lower league sort of team, maybe a non-league side. I haven't decided fully which team it's going to be yet, but perhaps a fallen giant that's in non-league. I'm thinking like a Tranmere or somemeone like that. I don't know.
Tranmere or Wrexham. Wrexham's another.
Yeah, Wrexham. I'm thinking of teams maybe not been in the Premier League, but they've been in the Championship. And Tranmere, I do remember Tranmere being in the Championship a long time ago. But yeah.
What's your views on the journeyman save? Because everyone seems to be doing some sort of journeyman for FM18. Is that something that you'd looking to do, or are you going to stick to a one-team man?
Personally, I try to be like a one-man team. One-man team?
A one-team man, yeah.
A one-team man. Well, I am a one-man team.
All right, Jose. Fucking hell, Jose Mourinho over here.
But I like the idea of sticking with a team and bringing them up right from the bottom all the way up. I mean, obviously, people have done that in the past, and there's been people being called out for being cheaters and stuff like that. I didn't really know. I mean, I never watched any of the guy who's apparently been said to have done it. Is by all accounts StatApp. I've never watched any of his stuff, so I wouldn't even know. But I do like the challenge of starting from the bottom and working the way up. And like I said, I've just been playing on an off-camera save, Bradford Park Avenue. It's where I've got some of the fails of the week from our fails of the month, should I say. And I've got them up at the first time into the Panorama National League, and I'm halfway through the season, I'm top of league again. But I've just got bog standard players, and it's just like, sometimes if you can get a tactic that works, it just works. Look at Bood last year with Stockport County. He just got the players to fit the system, and if you do that, and you've got arguably like a mid-range sort of team, there's always a chance you can at least get in playoffs, in my opinion. I mean, in real life, you look at Leeds. Last season there were no hopers really. They were just lower mid-table team, and then they nearly made it, but they bottled it in the end. But it can happen. But obviously, it's one of them, because I remember getting Guiseley into the Championship, and then I got bored at Save, and I don't know why, but I got them all the way up there. But I just like the challenge of starting off at someone at the bottom and building the stadium up and doing that. The journeymans, I don't mind them. It's just everyone's been doing them, and that's why I'd be put off from doing.
There's too many for me now. There's far too many now. They're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere.
They're like shit in a field.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everywhere.
I'm a huge Loki Doki fan. I'm not quite up there. He's not quite on the second yellow card stage for me yet. But I'm a huge Loki Doki fan, and his is probably the only journeyman save that I do watch religiously. And I tend to watch his episode every night in bed. So Loki Doki is the last thing I see before I fall asleep. So
I can't get to that beard.
I've not been sleeping much, which I get a lot of nightmares. Waking up, think of the beard chasing after me. But But
what about when he wore that bra that time?
Oh, do you remember that? Oh my god, was it weird that I was oddly aroused by that? I started questioning myself.
Yes, that's very, very weird. By a hairy chest with a bra on.
Well,
but anyway,
I definitely won't be doing a journeyman save. On my little town save, I was approached by Norwich City. I was also approached by Newcastle recently, and I was a little bit tempted. I thought Newcastle United, they're in the Premiership. They're not doing too well, but it's Newcastle, and for FM18, I think because I normally do a shorts because you get the first patch where there's just fucking shitload of bugs, didn't you? So normally, I did on my Napoli save, until the first patch comes out, I'll do like a larger team, just so I can get used to the game, get a feel for the game, then look to do a long-term save.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to take your hat off to Loki, because I think he's the one who's probably inspired a lot of people to do the journeyman saves. Whether the people do them abroad or start abroad and go wherever, or whether they just start at lower league. Because I know the Lujo, he starts off in like the non-league and works his way up, does non-league to legend like he did last year as well. But that's what happened. I mean, I don't normally, like I said before, I like to stay as the same team. But on last year's on FM16, I was Curzon Ashton to start off with. Got them promoted on the second season. Got relegated straight back down. It was horrendous. It was like painful. And then I ended up trying. I thought I'll have one more season and see if I can get them up. And then they were roaming around with jacking the save and start again, or see what happens. And I got offered a job at Eastleigh, and then I ended up getting them into Premier League eventually in consecutive seasons. I didn't finish top at league every single season, but I know I was really, really pleased, because I was getting like all these regions that were like, just like shit. I got like this one on loan from Southampton called Roy Brewer. What a name!
Roy Brewer.
And
that's a proper old-fashioned name, isn't it?
It was awesome, but he started off like it was like decent. It was like leading player for League Two, but as he were progressing, as he were getting more games, it was becoming League One leading player as we were in League One, and then he just got like 30 goals, it seemed, every season. So he like pretty much single-handedly took us up with some supporting roles from players that probably shouldn't be any better than League One standard. But it worked for us, and I got us up, and I got some rate names, like regen names. Like I had some guy called Russell. I had some guy called, what else did I have? There was another one, Emmanuel. That were, all these names, these regen names. Yeah, they had the same name twice. I think I had three of them all at the same time, but the names, the third player's name eludes me. It was like only a youngster, came through our academy, and it's just daft, some of the names that they come out with. But that were FM16, but that's the only time really that in all the time I usually, when going back to like early stages, because I started playing it 98, 99, I've always been just the one team and not changed. That was like the first actual time I've ever moved to another team on that save last year, and ironically it was on the YouTube save. But yeah.
Now I know you're a Leeds United fan. So that you guys, let's be honest, you haven't done too bad this season. Finishing 7th in the league. I know you're 5 points off the playoffs, but you've done pretty damn well compared to where you was a year ago. Gary Monk's come in and done an absolute superb job, in my opinion. But you, as a Leeds fan, what's your opinion on your season so far? And of course, the Welsh sensation. He's Welsh to me because he used to manage Swansea, but the Welsh sensation, Gary Monk. What's your views?
It's funny because I did have a subscriber comment early-ish on my save saying, I'm wondering if I were going to do like a review of how Leeds were doing. And I thought about it, but I thought I'll wait, because I'm going to do one myself, I think, because it's all up in air at the minute. Gary Monk is out of contract, but we've got like a new owner in, so it's all up in air, whether he's going to be getting kept on or anything. So I'm going to wait for that to happen. But in terms of this season, it's been good, apart from basically the end of the season. The end of the season, I think we were 11 points clear of Fulham at one point, I think, just after international break. And they were 7th, and we were like 5th or 4th or something at the time. And I never thought, I mean, no disrespect to Reading, but I thought Reading had dropped out of it, especially when they got absolutely battered 7-1 by Norwich City. And I thought, there's no way a team that's been beaten 7-1 is going to go up. And I mean, they might have done at this point, because at this point it's them versus Huddersfield in the final. And it's just like, I can't see them. I can see them faltering, and we'll end up getting in playoffs. And we've got a horrendous record in the playoffs, so we'll get beat in playoffs. But I'd have taken that. Plus, our owner, Massimo Cellino, he promised 25% back or something daft on the season tickets next season if we didn't get to the playoffs. So he's having to sort that out now. How they're doing it, I'm not entirely sure.
Is he definitely doing it, just out of curiosity?
I think so, yeah. Apparently they're saying that some fans have declined to do so. So they said, but if you want, you can donate to like our academy or something like that. But I don't know exactly what's happening at the minute, because it's all a bit hush-hush at the moment, because obviously there's going to be like a change in... Well, he's already like part owner. It's 50-50 with this Razadrini or whatever he's called. I forget his name.
He's only bloke.
He just joined recently, and he seems like he's got good intentions, but we'll only really know what happens once he takes full control, because we had GFH, who were like a Saudi Arabian consortium sort of thing, and we thought, oh, nice one, we're going to be like Man City, we're going to be buying the league basically. And it just so happened we found the only Arabs with no money basically. So yeah, and they end up putting us in an absolute shit ton of debt. And Cellino, he's got his critics, and a lot of people fault him because he's like got the managerial merry-go-round where he's chopping and changing all the time. But he has sorted out his finances. Aside from the one promise he did make, which a lot of people hold it against him as well, he hasn't bought Ellen Road back, which he said he was going to do. But we're not in debt anymore. So this guy who's taking over, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping eventually can take us to that next step, get the ground back, so we're not having to pay rent for that all the time. And there's one thing that really does annoy me, because people like say these rumours saying, they don't want to go up because you've got to pay out a load of money. I'm sorry, but you don't not go up. If you go up, you get a load of money. You can use that to pay off said money owing or whatever. So you might as well just take the chance, go up, and then you've got the money there to sort out all your problems. And you get Leeds fans that actually do say this, and I apologise if you're one of these and you're watching this, but why on earth, for the reason of, we'll get paggered every week, why is that not a reason to go up? If we get relegated straight away, we sort of, money-wise, we can probably bounce straight back like a Newcastle has done.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and it's just like, the chances are, unless something goes like drastically wrong, I'm thinking like a Bolton Wanderers here, because that's what happened. They end up getting relegated again into League One. Obviously, they've come back up now into the Championship, but they had really bad money problems that even the parachute payments couldn't sort out. But it strikes me as, because I'm like a member of a group on Facebook, and the arguments that people have to do with that, and it's just like, why even contemplating not going up? Surely that the goal is to get to the pinnacle of English football. Why would you say, let's not go up because we're going to get beat every week?
Well, look, when Swansea went up, I bet people thought they'd be down straight away, and now look at them.
And Bournemouth.
This season's side, especially, to me, this was a one-off blip for Swansea, but this season's side with Swansea, in a million years you thought they'd have gone up and come straight back down, just like Cardiff pretty much did. But Swansea are now a country mid-table team. Again, Bournemouth. I was one of the guys I thought Bournemouth might go down on record points, do you know what I mean? Because they just look like a bang average team. But Eddie Howe's gone in there, we've been there for years, but he's turned them into a real Premiership team And Leeds are a massive team. They're up there with your Aston Villa, your Nottingham Forest, your Sheffield Wednesday. Teams with a lot of history. 25,000 plus seat stadium, all those guys. If you've got a stadium that holds 25,000 plus, and you've got the history you guys have got. You're a big team, so it'd be good to see you guys back up in the Premiership. I've always said that you hear about teams that are, no one's ever too good to go down, but you look at that team of yours when you went down.
Yeah.
Verduca, Kjell, Dominic Matteo, Danny Mills, I think was there at the time as well, and
yeah.
Nigel Martin.
Alan Smith.
The
time.
That team was far too fucking good to have gone down. And it amazed me to this day that you guys went down the way you did.
I know, it was absolutely gut-wrenching that day, I must admit it. To be honest with you, though, I think I felt even worse about going into League One. Because I actually thought the club would go under.
Did you really?
Which I think we did go into administration and we became, I think it were AFC Leeds United. No, Leeds United Limited. That's what the actually official name is now. Obviously still Leeds United, but Leeds United Limited now at the end of it because of what happened with the administration when we got us minus 15 points, if you remember. We got minus 15 points and we finished in playoffs.
30 for us, but yeah.
Well, yeah, God, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah,
I haven't.
30. I thought the deal that they're screwed out at the beginning of the season.
Oh, we were.
Yeah, because you were in non-league, weren't you, for a bit? Yeah, of course.
We were in non-league for 6 years.
Yeah, God, I remember.
Anyway,
that.
I digress. I fucking hate the FA, the pricks. But
anyway. Leeds are like everyone's like. For me, I mean, it's a bit of a biased view, but for me, especially in the Championship, barring like one or two teams like Newcastle this season, we are like everyone's FA Cup final.
Yeah, of course.
And teams always seem to raise the game. Look at Sutton United, even though we're all kids that played, barring like 2 or 3 players. They raised the game and they deserved to win on the day, and we were appalling. But Leeds, I mean, they actually hold. I don't know why it's changed, but it used to be 40,200 seater, but they must have changed. I think they built some corporate facilities. It's knocked it down to about 37, I think. So, but that's a team that can, if in the Premier League that's full.
100%.
I mean, this season because we've been doing quite well. I mean, I reckon, I'd say in half of the games we've breached 30,000 fans. Which for Championship, it's a ridiculous amount of fans, and it's a lot of money because Leeds, believe it or not, the prices are quite extortionate compared to some of the teams. I mean, you look at Huddersfield Town. I mean, their tickets, I think they're about 20 quid or something. It's like 35 quid for Leeds.
Just for going there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. And it's not quite Arsenal standards, like, because apparently they're just ridiculous. But even so, I mean, that's why people say, "Oh, there's empty seats and stuff like that." I mean, Man City haven't exactly got an excuse, but it's just a case of if people can afford it, and
£35 by the time you paid for any food or drink and you travel to and from the game, you're looking at 70-80 quid. I mean, if you want to get a program as well, they're what, tenner now? Well, they're a fiver for us.
Fiver, I think. Yeah,
they're 5 figures well. Obviously, again, we're League Two.
Maybe 6 quid or something like that.
I mean, like for me to go to a Luton Town game is £22. I then pay £5 for my program. That's nearly 30 quid. By the time I paid my travel there, which is 4 quid, I then paid for any food or drink. I'm looking at 50 quid easy. Do you know what I mean? Which is
definitely.
It's a lot of money.
I mean. And if you're doing poorly in the league, then people are not going to be willing to pay that sort of money. If things are going well, that's why they go back. But people call them glory hunters. But no, it's a case of. Sometimes it's a case of, can I afford it? I mean, it's all right if you can get given a ticket. Like I got given one last season. But I bought one earlier on. I managed to get one for 25 quid because one of my mates dropped out, so I took his ticket. And it was against QPR. It was the most boring game going, 0-0. Fantastic. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think you're always going to have that problem. A lot of people are always slating teams for not having all the fans there and whatever. But it's one of them, innit? If you're doing well, you're going to get the fans.
Do you think you guys can or even want to keep Gary Monk next season? Surely you must do, or
I think so.
Do you want to keep him?
I do. I'm a little concerned about how the season finished. I don't know if something happened behind the scenes or something. That's my gut feeling is something's happened. Like there's been a fallout or something like that. But the job he's done this season. I'd have taken 7th. I'd have snapped 7th off his. If you offered it, I'd have snapped it out of your hand. But the reality is, we were in a fantastic position to at least have an attempt at going into the playoffs and getting into the Premier League, and we absolutely bottled it. I think we had one win in the last 8 games.
Bloody hell.
And yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you probably not. You won't probably realise that sort of thing. That that's how poor we were at the end of the season. We lost to teams like, no disrespect again, but Burton Albion, and who else did we lose? We lost to Wolves. Sorry, Dave, as a party. But yeah, they've been poor this season, and they beat us 1-0 at our own gaff, and it's just like, no, we shouldn't be losing to teams like that. I'd expect a point at home, and we were at one point, I think in March, we'd only conceded 3 goals at home since the turn of the year.
Bloody hell.
We turned into a bit of a fortress, and then even back end of the season we were losing games, and we shouldn't have been. I mean, we drew with. Did we draw or did we lose to Wigan last game of the season? I can't even remember now because it were a nothing game. There was nothing right on it because we'd already. No, we drew, but it's just frustration more than hope for Leeds fans. That's what I find. It's more. That's why they argue, because people are desperate for us to get back in Premier League, but then they're not realistic and they think, oh, let's throw 100 million at it that we don't have. Yeah, all right then, mate. Yeah, then we'll just end up going back into square one. That that got us into the problem that we're in now. You've got to be realistic, I think, and it's going to be tough for us to get in, but you can't just expect us to just throw a shit ton of money, because if it goes wrong, you're gonna have massive problems.
And what's a realistic goal for you next season?
Next season, well, if you're looking at terms of progression, it's got to be playoffs, because we finished one place below the playoffs. That's got to be minimum expectation, really, for if Gary Monk's there. It's got to be. His expectation this season, his realistic one was like do better than last season, which I think we finished 14th or 13th last season. So we have definitely progressed, but it's not going to be easy. I'd argue better teams have gone up than the ones that are coming down. Newcastle, always going to be an hard game when they came down. I knew it was going to be tough. Brighton have been knocking on the door for the last couple of years. It pains me, but I hope Huddersfield don't go up. I really do, because bragging rights, it's just... I'm sorry, but it's unheard of. It pained me that Bood got them into Premier League and Leeds stayed down. But Reading, I think they don't deserve to go up, but they finished third, so maybe they do. And I just thought, they got stuffed quite a few times. Did Reading? I think I'm right in assuming this. They're a minus goal difference, and I'm not sure whether I'm right here, but I'm pretty sure if they go up, they'd be like the first team or something to go up with minus goal difference. I'm not 100% sure on that, especially out of Championship into Premier League. But it just strikes me as something that could be a possibility, and I just think that the teams that have gone up, like the main two, Newcastle and Brighton, they're better than any of them that are coming down. So Sunderland, Middlesbrough, and Hull. I think if Hull keep that manager, they're going to be a realistic chance.
Hull are a very good team. I think Hull will go straight back up.
It depends on keeping him.
Well, if they keep the core of that squad as well, if they keep the core of that squad and not have the whole fucking team ripped out underneath, I think they'll go straight back up. They've got a very good team there.
Yeah.
They like to keep the likes of Abel Hernandez. Probably won't be easy. Yeah. But I know they kept him before. Can they keep him again?
They did do, yeah. Well, it depends how loyal they are, because the loyalty seems to be lost on a lot of footballers. But we'll have to wait and see on that one, because obviously I like to see. Sunderland
will be down for years to come. I think Sunderland will be down there for a few years.
I don't know, because I've thought that in past, and they've gone straight back up, or within 2 seasons they've gone back up.
It's just the money. I can't see Ellis Shaw, which he hasn't done for years, giving them the money they need to reinvest, because they're obviously going to lose Jermaine Defoe because he's going to free transfer. You're going to lose other guys as well. And the issue they've got there, apparently there's only 4 guys in that entire team that have got relegation
clause. No clause.
In regards to their wages. So they're going to have to lower that wage budget. They're going to be fucking screwed next season. So I think that team's going to be ripped apart. Pickford, and despite what I think Pickford's definitely going to go. Rumours are United or Liverpool, but Pickford's definitely going to go. It's just, I can see Sunderland being stuck there. And it's just my opinion. I think Sunderland will be stuck there for a couple of years.
Yeah, you probably got a point. I didn't realise about all the relegation.
Only 4 of their guys, because obviously, like in our game where you have a relegation clause where the wages drop by X amount. Only 4 guys in that team have got that. So out of a squad of 25, there's 21 guys there who are going to stay on the same money they're on the Premiership.
Yeah,
and
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
that's not sustainable for a Championship team. But regardless of the parachute payments, And we all know how the reason why Sunderland have struggled for so many years is because they won't reinvest that money. They won't invest the money like they got for Lee Cattermole among other players into buying top quality players. They might buy a couple of cheaper, smaller players, but they don't tend to reinvest and buy the players that they need. So I'm not a Sunderland fan. I'm a Luton Town fan. So you can argue, what the fuck do I know? But just through the little bits that I see, the little bits that I read and hear, I mean, I listen to a podcast called Shoot the Defence. They're very good, among other ones. And just the bits that I hear, I think they're struggling. But you guys probably know more about the Championship than I do. We've been in the Championship now for about 9 years, so I can't say anything.
Well, we obviously went down to League One, but otherwise, we got relegated 2003-04 season initially. Then I think it were 6-7 season we got relegated into League One. But then we came back in 2009-10 season. Yeah, 2010-11 was first season back in Championship. So we've been in it for a little while now. Not quite as long as like Ipswich Town, who I believe are the longest reigning team in the Championship that's not been up or down.
They're another big team.
Yeah, well, they are. They didn't they win Europe or something?
They did.
Bobby Robson.
Bobby Robson, didn't they?
So they're another decent club as well. But they've been poor this season. But there's always a team that surprises. And this year, Huddersfield Town, you can argue us as well, but Huddersfield Town have not been like known for challenging for playoffs or anything like that, and it wouldn't surprise me if they are like the Blackpool story this time and they go up, as much as it pains me. But it'd be interesting to see, because if they don't go up again, manager, I think David Wagner, which was Klopp's understudy, I think he'll end up at one of the Premier League teams, if I'm being completely honest.
He famously had a jet when the Bundesliga teams came looking for him around Christmas time, didn't they?
Yeah.
The name escapes me, sorry. But a Bundesliga team came in looking for him, and he turned it down to stay at Huddersfield, which I found fucking astounding. Do you know what I mean? So he's definitely a wanted man. So I wouldn't be surprised, as you said, if they do miss out on the player final to see someone poach him.
Yeah, I definitely think that could happen. And same goes with the Hull manager that's going to get relegated. I think he's shown. I mean, Hull were absolutely terrible, and then they got him, and they were like a massive unknown. No one had even heard of him, and it took until the last home game of the season for him to be beat at home since he took over. I mean, that's quite impressive for a team like Hull.
He's a very good manager. He's only young as well, isn't he?
Yeah, it's like another Mourinho, isn't he? Sort of thing.
He came from Greece. Was it Greece he was at? Panathinaikos or Olympiacos or somebody was at?
Apparently he'd gone like 2 years or something without losing at home there as well. So like that was how long his record had gone for not losing at home. 3 years nearly, I think it was.
Average.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's going to be sought after, and so is Wagner if they don't go up. But I think if they go up, they'll keep him. But it's going to be interesting next season. I have to say, I'm gutted. Obviously, obviously Luton got knocked out, so I've got to be gutted for you. But Carlisle as well got knocked out, and both games last-minute goals. Couldn't believe that.
I mean, when I saw the player fives, I actually thought Luton, Carlisle. I didn't really think Exeter would beat Carlisle. So obviously, naturally, I want Exeter to beat Blackpool.
Yeah.
I can't stand Blackpool for many, many reasons. Mostly because we lost, but there's other reasons as well.
The chairman's a bit of a clown by all accounts, isn't he?
Yeah. So if we are to look at your season today as a whole, who would your player of the season be?
It's got to be Chris Wood, hasn't it? He got 30 goals, first player to do it for Leeds for quite some time, and there's only about 6 players that's hit 30 goals for Leeds in the whole entire history.
Really?
30 goals or more, yeah. So he's joined that. Unfortunately, he's a bit of a one-trick pony, which leads to us like aiming for him, and like sometimes it can be
long ball merchant.
Well, to be fair, it's not been as much, but that's been one of Monk's issues. He's been reluctant to put 2 up front and have someone play off him. But where you're thinking in games it needs it, and he just is very stubborn in his tactics selection. But Chris Wood has got 30 goals. And that was like half of our total. Midfielders haven't been chipping in enough. The one thing I will say is we've got Chris Wood's probably the player of the season just for the goals alone, and we have got Pontus Jansson, which probably you might have heard of. A lot of people well, it's been rumoured, even though he's not officially joined us yet, but he's going to be leaving us for 12 million quid or something, which we're paying 3.5 million for him. So, but
Bloody hell.
he's a really, really good defender. But we had Kyle Bartley, who you probably will be aware of if you've got
Swansea,
sort of tied to Swansea.
Swansea, yeah.
He's on loan from them, but he's going back. But the manager, who is, what's he called again? Is it
Clement. Paul Clement.
Yeah, Clement. He said that he sees him in his plans, so we're probably not going to see that partnership. So that's what I'm concerned.
But he played under Gary Monk when Gary Monk was at Swansea. He played under Gary Monk. Obviously, after Gary Monk fucking wrongly got sacked, he brought Kyle Bartley over to Leeds, and from what I heard, because he's played for Swansea, I keep an eye on all the Welsh teams, and I heard that he's done relatively well for you guys, so it's good to see.
Oh, it were immense. Pontus Jansson got all the plaudits because of his passion and geeing up the crowd and stuff. But Kyle Bartley was a consistent 7 out of 10 every single game. Even 8. You could argue 8 out of 10 every game up until the last 8 games where everyone were playing poor. But there were those 3. There were Chris Wood, Pontus Jansson, and Kyle Bartley, all arguably candidates for Player of the Season. Maybe Luke Ayling as well, who was signed from Bristol City. But other than that, the only other player I'd highlight is who's going to be absolutely class, I think, in a couple of years' time. That's Ronaldo Vieira, who's
he's very popular Leeds fans, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 18-year-old. It's like you could argue he's going to.
Is he English? Is he English?
No, he's Portuguese. But I believe he moved over here when he was really young, I want to say, because his English is impeccable. It's ridiculous. So I'm assuming that's what it is. Maybe he was born abroad to English parents. I'm not sure. I don't know. But name like Ronaldo Vieira, I doubt it. But I'm not entirely sure, really. But I should have really looked into that. But
how would you tell? It's obviously, if he's, I just assume because he's been there, so I just assume that maybe he might have English heritage, which might be interesting for the under 21s. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think he would be. In fact, yes. He's included in the. I think it's the England under 20s side. Recently, he got picked under 20s because the last.
He is a Bouassou Ghanaian-born English footballer.
Yeah.
He plays and holds Portuguese nationality.
That's it. Because it says on Football Manager Portuguese, you see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remembered actually, it was only 2 days ago that he got picked for the England under 20s because England under 20s are older than the competition.
He said his first choice would be to play for Portugal. But you're right, on the 16th of May, he was called up to England under 20 squad for the 2017 Toulon tournament.
Yeah.
What's the bets? He goes there, fucking smashes it, and then Portugal come in and nick him. What's the bets that happens?
Either that or he just gets signed by a Premier League team for about 10 million quid, like Lewis Cook.
Never to play again.
Yeah.
Lewis Cook has been an FM legend for years. Lewis Cook was an absolute beast on FM for so many years, really. For a good 2-3 years, I used to sign Lewis Cook every year from Leeds.
Yeah, he's gonna be shit up, but it's how good to see him go as well. But this time, this is the difference with Chilino, because people slate him. But we had Ken Bates before, and we'd sell players like Johnny Howson and Robert Snodgrass for about 2 million apiece. These are players that were going to be shit hot sort of thing. And some of them you could argue they're not shit hot, but they're very good players, especially for the Championship and bottom end Premier League. And we sold them for 2 million quid. Lewis Cook might be an exception, he might be a bit more, but at least we got 10 million quid, I think it was. It might have been 7 million rising to 10 or something like that. But we've got a better deal. So we're not selling his players off anymore for 2 pence or something, it feels like.
Well, there we go, boys and girls. Another episode over and done with me, BenDPB, interviewing fellow FM content creators. And what episode it was? Talking to GWFM. Thoroughly enjoyed that chat, especially the talk about Leeds United. That was interesting. Hearing you also talk about your ideas for FM18 for the beta was also incredibly interesting. Looking forward to seeing how that pans out. But if you want to give yourself a shout out, social media wise, dude, and maybe talk about your Leeds team if you want to, please feel free to.
Cheers, Ben. Thanks for having us on. My YouTube is www.youtube.com/user/GW365 because that's my own name. And the Twitter handle is @GW_FM. And yeah, looking forward to well, at this moment in time, finishing season 4. We're approaching potentially some, qualifying for a Champions League spot, and we're in the Europa League semi-final. At this point, may or may not have won it, probably not. And otherwise, like I said, that's the Life at Leeds save. But otherwise, the fail of the month thing, I'm trying to get going. Anyone's got any submissions whatsoever, I've got a Gmail set up for submissions. It's let me just get this up. Sorry, it's gw365@gmail.com. Just use MediaFire to sort out like a link sort of thing for us, and so I can download it. I'll check it out, and if it's which it probably will be, if it's good enough to go into the fail of the month, I'll definitely implement it. And if you're like a new YouTuber or something like that, I'll definitely promote your channel through that video. Yeah, so thank you very much.
If you haven't already checked out GW's channel, I highly recommend you do. His lead save is extremely entertaining, and his new series, the FM17, is even more entertaining. Make sure you check him out. Chances are you probably already have, but if you haven't, head on over to there now. But you guys have listened to me, BenDPB. Thank you all for your love and support. It's truly appreciated. If you haven't already, smash that like button. And if you haven't either, make sure you tick the subscribe button for myself and GW. And don't forget, before we go, Dioch.